All right, welcome to week 5 Zoom call, everybody. Before we get started, Al, I'm going to get you to throw the slides up on the screen here.
Jeez, you're demanding.
Look at that. You changed it all up. Perfect. All right. So, week 5 Zoom. So, first of all, well, let's before we get into the slides tonight, was there anything in week 4 that we need to discuss? Any special plays? Anything take place in any of our local games, whether it's AUS, high school, minor, that we need to talk about?
Somebody's TV's on in the background.
Yeah, mute the mics.
Yep. I think, Jackie, it's yours.
Who?
John. Well, it says John's iPhone, so that's Jackie. John is Jackie.
There you go. All right, Ray, carry on.
All right, let's go to the first slide. All right, rules study for this week. We've been seeing a lot on film, been seeing this in evaluations. Doesn't matter the level, whether it's minor, high school, AFL, U Sports, it's stopping the clock. We all seem to forget to stop the clock when it's time to stop it. So this slide, I'm not going to read through all the points. You know where to find it in the book. But I really want to just remind everybody to put a little bit of effort into reading this rule before we hit the field this week. And let's get better at stopping the clock when we're supposed to stop it, especially in the 3 minutes. And I know that we talk about when we go to run time, people get lazy with the signals because a lot of times we say, don't worry about the signals, only the white hat's going to stop the clock. But let's have a chat with our timers that if we do go run time, for the timer to pay attention to the white hat, but let's keep working on our stop time signals when we have to, when that play goes out of bounds. All right.
Can I add something to that, Ray? It's the
Yes.
same everybody with their age group games. The only time in which the clock's never going to stop, unless it's for injury or timeout, is U12. But we can still go through all of the mechanics that we're supposed to be doing about stopping the clock on the list of items that Ray has here, just to simply get in the habit.
Yeah. And it happens because you work that U12 or you work that game that is in run time, and you get out of habit of stopping the clock when the ball goes out of bounds. And your next game, sure enough, you're going to be stuck on the sideline where it's supposed to stop and there's no signal. So let's really get in the habit. We are getting very close to the playoffs coming around, and we want to make sure we are as sharp as possible with our signals on the field. So let's really put some effort onto this heading into this week.
Ray, if I could add one other point for the last 2 items, K and L. The covering official, when you do kill the clock, particularly if there's a turnover, also give a signal as to who's got the ball, what direction we're going, and that applies on kick plays as well.
Okay. All right. Move ahead.
So that was Ray's spiel. There were some interesting questions that I heard this week from players, coaches, other officials, and so on. So there's 5 that came up here. So firstly, what's the difference between an offside pass and an illegal pass? I reached out to some of my knowledgeable friends to ask for their input. So simply put, an offside pass, more often than not, is unintended or it's accidental. anything happening on a turnover is where we have that ball moving from one player to another is going to be an offside pass, or situations where the ball is tipped in an offside direction or the ball is being handed off in an offside direction. Okay, so that's an offside pass. Happens on turnovers. Most often it's unintentional. It may happen with intent, but not really. An illegal forward pass, more often than not, there is intent included. It happens on scrimmage plays where the ball's been carried across the line of scrimmage and then it's thrown forward, or in situations where we'll have a second forward pass occurring. So that's the difference between the two. One is on scrimmage plays. The other usually occurs on turnovers and can be more accidental than the other. The second question, can any player in the line snap the ball? This was an interesting one that opened some eyes on Sunday when I was talking with some of our brand new officials. Or must it be the person at center, since that's what they're called? No, any person on the line of scrimmage can snap the ball. So our ends could snap it, our tackles, guards, or the center. So anybody can. That's the simplest way to put that. Nothing else to say about that. We're hearing about the return of the fumblerooski or the guard tackle around. It's important to keep in mind that if a line person is going to take the ball, they must come off of the line of scrimmage to receive the handoff. So whether they take the ball from where the center or the snapper has placed it, or the quarterback takes the ball and then puts it in their belly, they must come off the line of scrimmage. It can even be exchanged between the center and the quarterback, but there must be a clear exchange of the football, and that center or snapper must come well back off the line to receive that next handoff. Okay, so anybody on the line of scrimmage can do that. In the end zone, returner gets it out. Balls being kicked into the end zone. This came up a couple of times this weekend, once from a coach and once from an official. If the ball is kicked into the end zone and the returner is able to get it out legally, what happens next? Well, it depends on what type of kick we have. So if we have a kickoff and it goes into the end zone and the returner gets it out, the ball is going to be put in play where the play went dead. Now, barring penalties and all those things, okay? So kickoff into the end zone, returner gets it, out of the end zone. That team is going to scrimmage wherever the ball went dead. If it is kicked into the end zone because of a scrimmage kick, punt, a field goal, a drop kick, and the returner legally gets it out of the end zone, and the ball goes dead between the goal line and the 20, barring penalty, the next point of scrimmage will be the 20-yard line. If they get beyond the 20, the next point of scrimmage will be where the ball goes dead. So depending on how it gets into the end zone will determine where we're going to put the ball next. And I'm hearing this a fair bit about centers on special teams. We will hear some officials say, don't touch the center until they're up or until they stand up. That means nothing. That center, if they stand up and just stand there, is still protected. Okay, and they are protected for at least a yard in advance of the line of scrimmage, so the neutral zone. So simply saying don't touch the center till they stand up, and a player, that sends a poor message to the rushers, basically telling them when that player stands up, I can clean them. Well, they can't. Okay, so don't try and change our language to better inform the rushers that you cannot touch the center on long snaps, on special team snaps.
Unless the center gets up and engages something.
Engages, correct. Yeah. Okay, any other? Yeah, go ahead.
Would I be wrong in saying that they cannot be touched and get up and protect themselves?
Say that again, Mike. You broke up partway through.
I usually tell them there's no contact in the center until they can get up and protect themselves.
No, because what you have to do is tell them you cannot touch the center unless the center touches you.
Okay.
Okay, because even if they get up to protect themselves, you really can't touch them. Unless, again, like Bill says, unless the center engages, or if you're shooting the gap and make contact.
So can I add one thing, Al?
You may, please.
Folks, this may be confusing because in the last couple of years, we have received direction that center, if he stands there, it's like there's a force field around him. In the past, what Mike is alluding to is what we used for criteria. When the center was up and ready to play, he could be engaged. Well, we've been told in the last couple of years that is not accurate. And so if the center engages someone else, then he's free game. Until that such time, he's basically got a force field around him.
My remark to the players is, don't. I just leave it at that.
You broke up there, Jim.
Oh, I hit the center.
Yeah. Make it simple.
And I'll ask one last question, Al, before we move on. What about a dribble ball into the end zone that comes out? Answer.
Jesus,
answer that. It's a kick from scrimmage. It's not a kick from scrimmage, so you just leave whoever got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
God, you caught me off on that one. Jesus.
Nasty.
Because, well, no, I have a video dealing with a dribble ball. And I was like,
oh I see what you mean. Sorry about that.
It's quite all right. Okay, anything else about these little blips that came up in the past week? All right, so some clips on positioning and mechanics. So 5 crew person update. Please note, the diagram on the left is our 5-person positioning that we are using. Okay, on a kickoff. I reached out across the country last week after we had talked because I wasn't quite comfortable with my response. No, everybody just sort of moves up. And I think it was Jim mentioned, he thought that there was another type of movement. So I reached out. The proper alignment for a short kickoff that is called by the crew. The umpire would come from the far side directly across and is on the kicking line with the referee. The line judge and down judge stay put, and the field judge fills in center field somewhere. So this is for a 5-person crew short kickoff that is called by the crew. And somebody asked last week, and I don't think we answered it, who makes that call? If my memory serves me correctly, it's this person here. I might be wrong. It wouldn't be the first time today, but I believe it's a deep official who calls it. That does not mean that if one of the other 4 officials hears something from the bench that they couldn't call it. But it's got to be called before everybody's ready to roll. Okay, so that's an update on the 5-person kickoff positioning stuff. All right.
And well, I'd add one thing to that. With this new arrangement where the umpire basically crosses the field diagonally, that needs to be called before anyone goes to position.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we are tipping a team off. Because in the past, the umpire just slid up the sideline. Well, that was rather discreet. Now he's got to run diagonal across the field to get to his new position. If you guys can't determine that before everyone sets up, you just stay where you are.
Stay where you are. Yeah. Okay. So, mechanics for a wide field goal. I got to find where to start this. Okay, so I think last week we talked about field goals and where to go and so on. So the 2 deep guys here, neither really moves as such. One of the things that somebody said in our meeting last week was, when do you go? This ball is now about 10 yards past the line of scrimmage. At this point, or even before, once you read where the ball's going, it's harder if it's coming out of post. Don't get me wrong. But when it's a visibly wide field goal, these two guys should have made their decision already. This official should be going to the post and have their arm out to the side indicating it's wide, which allows, come on, where's my cursor? This official to beetle back towards the dead ball line on the side of the end zone where the ball's going. As we watch this, you'll see the line of scrimmage official on this side working their way downfield. So it's not all bad, but it's just one of those things. Right now is when that call should be made, not now. Too late now. Okay? So just make our decisions quicker. And once you make the decision, stay with it. This is probably one of the few times that I will actually say I like the drone footage. A couple of questions on this one. Okay, now there's a reason why I asked the question. Does anybody tell me where the receiver was when they touched the ball?
I can.
You can? Why were you there?
Yeah.
Okay.
I threw a flag on this one. He was on the sideline.
He was on the line, was he? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So he's out of bounds when he catches the ball.
Correct.
And again, as I say, this is one of the few times I like a drone picture. It'd be nice if it's right over top. Okay. Okay, we all have our zones of coverage.
Can we go back to that for a second? So
Sure.
you threw a flag. Was the kick?
Yeah.
Was it a flag for a
So-
kickoff out of bounds?
So what's
or
the
a flag for
application, folks?
illegal
Yeah.
participation?
Well, it's open for discussion.
If he's out of bounds and touches the ball in bounds, it should be illegal participation, should it not?
Is the ball inbounds? Being a devil's
It's in
advocate.
it's inbounds until it goes out of bounds.
When
It
does
has
go out
not
of
gone
bounds?
out of bounds. It has not gone out of bounds until it touches something out of bounds.
So
Just
is
the player.
So the player is out of bounds, according to what Andrew told us. So in this situation, it would be an illegal kickoff.
No,
What? What did you rule it?
3 years ago it would have been, Al. This is illegal
Oh, shit, yes.
participation. No.
Participation. Yeah. Thank you.
And this is the one situation. Remember, folks, we had a discussion about this, 3 weeks ago? Was it 4 weeks ago, Al, when you introduced that
Out of
updated?
bounds stuff. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, this is the one situation, folks, where you rule it dead where it is and you go back 10 yards because the kid was standing on the sideline, caught the ball. He wasn't out of bounds and come back in. He was standing on the sideline, caught the ball on a kickoff. So it's dead there and you go back 10.
10 yards. Yeah. Good. Any other questions on this one now that Andrew corrected us?
Well, Andrew didn't necessarily correct that.
No.
Andrew just said what he thought.
Yeah, well, no, that wasn't meant as a dart either.
No, I understand that.
It's funny. I was
It's
just
illustrated
reading
in the past. Andrew isn't always right.
Still called illegal participation for the penalty, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, so I'm not sure where the ball is right now. I guess number one has it and is rolling out with it, which means that these officials, wherever he went, these officials are watching this stuff as opposed to watching this guy. Okay, so this is like the ball hawking stuff. This official has the ball carrier. This official has the action coming towards them until the ball carrier crosses the line of scrimmage. This official is watching all the garbage that's happening in here, if there's any. As we watch these two birds right here, come on, go. You get sent for a float. Okay. And there is a flag thrown on the play. Okay, so we have our zones, our areas that we're responsible to cover while plays are developing. If we don't cover them, then stuff like that happens, and we don't want it to happen. So make sure we stay focused on where we should be looking. Oh, so this is similar to the short kickoff that we talked about a little bit earlier ago. The decisions need to be made. Okay, we're 7 seconds out of the huddle breaking when it's decided who's taking the field goal. Now, it works out well. There's no problem with it, but the issue is, look where the two deep officials are. They should be back here and back here to cover in case a scrimmage play breaks down. So it's just being a little quicker on our mechanics, especially when we know what's happening, to communicate with everybody on the field.
Well, that's, I guess, partially on me, because I had said in pregame I was taking anything 10 and in, and I communicated it verbally. And then when I looked down, the guys were under the post, and that's why you see me sort of motioning to the fact that I had it at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Would it be easier or more beneficial for me to slide out where I notice them? I don't know how to.
Because you mentioned it in the pregame and you verbalized with them, you would think that somebody would have conveyed it back so everybody knows. This isn't a one-person thing either. This is a
No, I said,
yeah.
Wasn't my fault.
I didn't. No, that's why I said, is it?
Yeah.
Is it easier? Do you think it's easier if this were to happen again for me to just slide over and then cover the kicker punter like a long field goal?
Not necessarily. I think think you flip a coin, Chris, on it, because by the way these two guys are looking right now, they look unsure about what's going to happen anyhow. So it's best that you stay with it. I'm assuming that your line of scrimmage guy has already indicated, this line of scrimmage guy over here has indicated they have the holder kicker.
Yeah, because this is a 6-man crew, so we have the two line of scrimmage that aren't moving. So
I don't think shifting your coverage is necessarily going to correct anything. I think it's just one of those things that you need to remind people of. I don't even know what play this was in the game, about who should be doing what and so on. Anyhow, it's just for us all to keep in mind as we go forward and we have plays like this coming up. Did they go to the blue team go to huddle before this?
No.
Guys,
when I'm pointing, I'm actually yelling at Chris, you got this? But it was too late.
Yeah.
That's what I'm pointing the finger and I'm pointing at Chris, yelling at him, but he didn't hear me.
A good rule of thumb is try as the referee in this situation, try to make eye contact with the guys down below, one of them, before you blow time in, and say either it's yours or it's mine, whichever way it's going to be.
Yeah.
If it's close. And that way that happens before time's blown and gives everyone time to set up accordingly.
Yeah. So
Chris did say pregame that anything 10 in was his, but I couldn't tell how close it was.
Yeah, and that's
so that's why you make eye contact if it's close. Yeah.
Yeah.
When you say that they did not go to a huddle, did they send any subs on for a field goal?
Or they may have. I can't remember exactly.
Yes, okay. Yes, they did.
Did they?
Yes, they send in. That's the Holland team or the St. John team. They sent in at least 3 players. So they may not have huddled, but I definitely had the clock stopped.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Just communicate with the umpire, and the umpire should relay it back. Make sure.
And the umpire, being a slow learner like he is, it probably took about 4 or 5 of these plays to happen before the umpire realized he should be closer to 15 to 20 yards deep in a 4-member crew. Standing at your normal 12-yard deep, 10 to 12-yard deep in a 4 official crew with teams of high school students is not a good spot. This person should be back here even, so that they're in a better position to cover pass plays like that. And then rely on your line of scrimmage officials to help out a bit more on plays between the offensive and defensive linemen. Anyhow, it was a slow learner. We caught on later. So we talked about this mechanic before. Watch this player. He engages before the forward pass is caught, and we have a signal that tells that those guys are allowed downfield to block. Okay, which means, let me bring it back here. So this guy is the only guy I focused on because it's on this sideline. He comes down, he tries to engage this guy to block him when they throw a screen out to this guy. What that means is the other 4 officials, so the umpire, the field judge who's a little deeper, and the 2 line of scrimmage guys can now, especially when you're away from the ball, can focus on, are there linemen coming downfield and blocking? All of a sudden you see 63 down here and 5 yards beyond the line of scrimmage, and you look out and we have an arm up on the line of scrimmage, we're good. But that's what that signal's for the rest of us to know what's going on. So this is a deep kickoff. And if I remember correctly, it's a regular kickoff in the 45. So we have an area in here where we have players coming who are going to be roughly the second wave. This would be our first wave because the returner's out here where my cursor is. First wave's here. It's going to be the deep guys. Second wave should be the line of scrimmage guy coming down here, and any help we have coming in this way. Because when we don't have that coverage, and whether you would call this as a foul or not, I think it is game time related and evaluating how hard the hit is. But if we watch this player right here, he's going in the wrong direction. Our antenna should be up. He's looking at the opponent. And I think the intent is to hit him much harder than he did, but there's potential for injury. So as line of scrimmage officials and deep officials coming downfield, we need to know who's responsible for who. Okay, so deep officials should be down here a bit further to help out with these guys. Line of scrimmage guy coming down, watching these guys, the same with the line of scrimmage over here. And this is a 6-member crew.
What would you deem that as, a tourist hit?
No, I'd call that a crackback. No, I wouldn't. I'd call it a blind side.
Right.
You could call it a tourist. He's not expecting to get hit, so on and so forth. They're both URs.
I don't think you call that tourist. He's pursuing the ball. I don't think you could call that tourist.
He's still anticipating being hit.
Yeah, everything's in front of him as far as the ball's concerned.
But he's not heading back towards his own dead ball line. He's the kickoff team, isn't he? Is he not?
White's
the return
team.
White's the return team. So
blue is the return team.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I had it backwards. I thought blue was the kickoff team.
No, blue is the return team. And this kid right here is going towards his goal line or dead ball line and delivers a hit. So this would be a blind side. But it's important to make sure we get people to the positions they need to be in to make the call. Oh, can I stop this one? I want to stop it. Quick answer, flag from the line, field judge and down judge. What's the call?
Too many men.
Too many men.
Too many men. Against who?
Defense.
Who is the?
White.
Who is the?
Home team.
Home team. Okay. Down judge counts the home team. Field judge counts the defense. 13 players on the field. Perfect that we have 2 flags on it. So rules related. Any questions on any of those that we went through? I've been through fairly quickly. Nope. So some rules related things. So we've talked about this the last 2 weeks. Didn't see as many in the number of films that I watched. We're going to watch the center on the blue team. Okay, because it's from, you cannot see it from the handheld camera that's 10 feet off the ground, but you can see the player right here. Simply goes at the legs of the opposing defender, and the quarterback scoots right up the center. So that illegal block, that unnecessary roughness block, allowed the touchdown to occur. So again, hello?
I'm pretty sure we talked about this.
Did you get it?
No,
Oh,
because sorry. We talked about this, did we not, Andrew?
Yeah.
We both sorry, I meant Lockery, not Bouvard. I'm pretty confident this is the one we talked about, that because number 8 was the one that got cut. I felt it was at and above the knee.
Yeah.
I'm not sure this film does it as much justice.
Okay.
Because I also think
perfect. Yeah.
Because I also believe 8, the player that is being cut, is also lowering himself to the ground as well, like almost trying to swim over top. So he asked Andrew and I about this, and I'm fairly confident if this is the one that I'm thinking of. I talked to 8 about this and said I felt it was at and above the knee.
This is not the same one, Chris. That is this. It's earlier in this game for this one. But that I know which one you're talking about. That's the one where he took him right at the knees, and 8 one kind of cartwheeled over top of him.
Okay,
that was an earlier play. But
again, it's happened in a number of games over the last couple of weeks in play situations, short yardage, goal line type of things. We need to be, as a group, more focused on what's happening on that line of scrimmage. It seems to be occurring more at the next age group level at the AFL than it is at high school level, but it's just something for us to be aware of in these types of play situations.
Right. Maybe this is something you send a reminder out to Perry that on goal line, so, on the 1 or any 3rd and 1, to remind everyone it's got to be above the knee type of thing, because this is, these kids are taught to shoot forward, right? That's that sort of Philly special here. It's a very hard thing because you got 5 guys shooting down, and it's going to be hard to catch them. We should be able to catch some of them, but maybe just a reminder to the coaches that we need to teach this, that it has to be above that knee.
Yeah. Good point.
Al, quick question on the age group stuff. Am I correct? And there's no blocking below the waist, period, on age group?
No, you're not correct. I say that right now, and I'm just looking to see if I have my age group rules here in front of me. I believe they follow the rule book.
It'd be on the it'd be on the FNB site.
No.
I can look it up, Al, if you want. You can keep going.
Okay. Yeah, perfect. I believe that they are allowed to block as per rule book. what is this one? Oh. All right, so this is a. I'm going to say a couple of things here. None are meant to throw daggers at anybody. So we have 2 slot backs for the team in blue. This player is going to come hard to the line. This player, who's a rather tall young man, sort of does a little stumble forward, and it's not meant to draw the team offside, neither one of these motions. As this player out here moves, this defensive player jumps into the neutral zone. This player gets back before the snap. This player gets set. This player, who even cares about other than he's moving? So what we end up having is we have a flag coming from one side, and we're calling this player for early motion. And when we discussed it, we got it all corrected. We picked up the flag because there was no violation at all. But the coach of the team in blue felt that we should still penalize the defensive player who jumped in, but had gotten back. Anyhow, he then made a comment to the line of scrimmage official out there that warranted a flag. But it's just one of those things. Make sure that we don't reach, we don't overstretch our coverage. Okay. If we do have something down, let's make sure we get all the information first. And then hopefully the bench will live with it. But in this case, they weren't very happy. But it's just one of those things where we have bodies moving who are allowed to move, causes another player in the defense move who's allowed to move. Everybody gets back to where they should be, and there should have been no foul called. But we got it correct. Unfortunately, our correct answer wasn't fully appreciated.
So in regards to the FMB rules, there's no reference to blocking below the waist. So it'd be ruled.
It's only, I was going to say it's only the girls, but they're in the rule book. They follow the rule book too.
Yeah.
Andrew,
just
what date do you have on those? Because I'm looking at the August 26 rules.
Well, I'm on FMB's website right now.
Okay, go to page 6, just above special rules.
Page 6. Okay. Get there.
Yeah. No blocking below the waist.
Is that for U18 girls?
Oh, there is. I didn't catch that line right there.
This is for all age groups as far as I can tell.
Yeah, it says
that would be for all leagues. Yes, because it's all one rule set. I didn't catch that. Good catch, Arliss.
All right. So
we had a discussion this weekend on it. That's the reason I want some clarification. It reads blocking restrictions. Initiating blocks below the waist is not permitted. And further, illegal blocks below the waist are a 15-yard penalty. Any player penalized twice for this infraction in the same game will not be permitted to play the remainder of the game. So it's a pretty serious one.
Yeah.
So I got a question. If you have both the offense and defense on a goal line, both diving down, what do you do then?
Well, they can't both hit each other below the waist.
So ideally, if they're both going low, the very first time it happens, you need to have a conversation with both coaches that neither of them should be doing that. Because if one kid stands up or is going higher and gets hit below the knees, it's a foul.
Yeah.
But if you have players from both teams that are going right at the ankles, because, that's how we play it in short yardage, and they're both going at the ankles, the first thing you need to do is after that play goes, is the referee and umpire need to have a chat with both head coaches. And tell them that if there's contact being made below the knee, and if it's possible, that there will be fouls.
Below the waist.
Below the waist, rather. Yeah. What's that? Sorry.
Below the waist, minor. Below the knee, high school and above.
Yeah.
Except U Sport, which is different.
Yeah, which is they allow everything. So this is the one that sort of alludes to what Andrew talked about earlier about the dribbled ball. This one came from the Oromocto St. Max game. We have an attempted convert. The ball is no longer being pinned, and he kicks it. What happens if it goes across the crossbar? Is it good? No good? Do we have 3 points? Do we have 1 point?
So was it not being pinned? Because the holder is still right there trying to.
He tried to, but
He didn't have
I'm going by the information I got.
Okay.
The ball right now is sitting on the ground, unpinned.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It would still be a convert, would it not?
Well, just a second before we go any further. Pat Mullins, are you on? No. Paul here? No. Anybody
I'm here.
Oh, Pat, was the holder still pinning this?
No.
Okay, so he lost complete control of it. Okay, so Andrew, what was your question? Andrew Lockery.
Well, if he kicks it, regardless of whether it's pinned or not, it'd still be a successful kick, would it not?
It would probably be it'd be a successful, he successfully kicked it.
But if you kick,
define successful kick.
Well, it'd be along the lines of a drop kick, would it not?
Well, I'm glad you asked that. Did the kicker drop it from his hands and kick it after it rebounded off the ground?
No.
No. That's the definition of a drop kick. Okay, so it's not pinned anymore. It's not a drop kick. If he kicks it and it goes over the uprights, do we have any points?
Yeah. Well, it'd be kicking a dribbled ball.
So it'd be
Then what happens? Now remember, this is a convert.
So it's be no good. It'd just be an incomplete convert.
It'd be a dead play.
Yeah.
When does it become dead?
Oh, wow. As soon as it hits the crossbars, I think.
Didn't hit the crossbar.
It did.
Well, yeah, it does. It hits the crossbar.
It hit the crossbar. Yeah.
Oh, then it would,
that's why Paul's ducking.
Then it would be dead.
Okay.
A convert like a PAT?
Okay, that's what they're trying.
They're trying for a PAT?
Yeah.
So it's as soon as it's kicked. As soon as it's kicked, we blow it dead because it's a dead ball.
Well,
It's not ball.
So,
no,
okay.
It'd just be a fumble. It'd be a fumble, then I kick the ball.
What type of kick is it?
It'd be a dribbled ball.
It's a dribbled ball. So if the dribbled ball hits the uprights, do we
dead.
kill it?
Yes. Yes, the uprights are out of bounds.
No.
Well, any live ball that hits the uprights is a dead ball.
No.
So it's live until it hits the bar.
Not any live ball.
It has to be a kick from scrimmage that hits an opponent's upright to be a dead ball.
Well, this is a kick from, well, I suppose it's a dribbled ball, so it's not kickable.
Exactly.
Exactly. So when it hits the crossbar, what do?
Freak out.
Nothing at all.
What to do?
What was that? Somebody just said something?
Nothing at all. Just wait.
Wait and see what happens. Because that is now what?
Live ball.
A live ball. If the defending team gets the ball, what happens?
Blow the whistle.
Blow the whistle, the convert is completed.
Yeah.
What if a member of the kicking team legally
2 points
covers that?
It'd be a successful 2-point convert.
Yeah, that's all I say. Get into the end zone with it.
Yes.
Okay. So, and now here's the kicker. Here's the complicating factor. On this kick from scrimmage, on this dribbled ball, who can recover it?
The kicker.
Legally. In this image, only the kicker.
Yeah. And the holder. The holder's behind him.
Well,
A holder by definition is offside.
Offside. But in this case, because it becomes dribble,
he's not the holder anymore.
Well,
you have to have a good angle from the sideline. So let's say that he's behind the kicker. They're the only two players that can legally recover that ball and either advance it or go dead with it. They go dead with it, converts over. Okay. So if the holder is still classified as being in front of the kicker, the only player on the field other than the defensive team that can legally recover the ball is the kicker. So when the ball hits the crossbar, because it's been dribbled, it's a live ball, and we allow the play to go to its conclusion.
Okay, so, but on a, okay, it's confusing me because if a kick hits the crossbar, it's a dead ball.
It's a scrimmage kick.
If it's a kick.
Unless it's out of its own end zone.
Field goal.
Field goal. Okay. Now, if a pass hits the bar, it's a dead ball. But a dribble ball hits the bar, it's a live ball.
Okay, hold it. Back up a step to your passes. A lateral pass
is live.
Hitting the goal post is live.
Yes. Yeah. I'm talking
forward goal post, forward pass.
Kick. But it just seems weird that a dribble ball hitting the crossbar would not kill the play.
No.
Okay.
Anyhow, interesting play. Thanks for doing that, Pat. I'm just trying to figure out where we are in this. No, that's not this one. I'm not sure what this one is. Oh, okay. So you remember earlier we talked about the play from the St. John High Leo Hayes game where we had a screen pass, covering official had their hand up, which means that people can block downfield. So in this play, do we have a screen pass?
No.
No. The forward pass has been attempted beyond the line of scrimmage. So, with that in mind, can this player in green block the player in yellow?
No.
No. Okay, so it's, again, keep in mind that, again, this is 4 official crew, so we need guys looking in from other places because we have people that are responsible for the completion. But somebody's got to watch these illegal blocks that happen downfield on forward passes. Because, excuse me, this player right now, if he knocks him down and this kid catches the ball, he's gone. And he's gone because of an illegal block. So we want to try and catch those.
You play that from the beginning, Al?
I can. Or I can try. There we go.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so you're 1, 2, 3. Now, if the play continued on, it goes dead right there. Can those 3 players, come on, get there. So these 2 guys. So the guy right now is out of bounds. This guy is going to step out of bounds. This guy comes back in bounds. This guy now has stepped out of bounds. So those 2 have been out and in. And then this guy steps out of bounds. So the question is, can those three players continue to play until the play comes to an end? Why or why not?
The first two, no, because they go out on their own violation. Number 6 in yellow looks like he was blocked out.
Okay. Any other thoughts?
I think initially the first two guys were pushed or went out of bounds while blocking, but then they both seemed to one seemed to reestablish. But the other one, I don't know if he did all the way. So I don't know.
This number 19 here, he's knocked out.
Yeah. He's pushed out
from the block.
But then you go back in. Does he get all the way?
He's blocked there to the ground.
Yeah, he's fine to come back.
And then he rolls out. So when he comes back in, he's good.
Yeah. So let's deal with this guy right here, right now. See where my cursor is? We're going to deal with him. Yeah, how did he get out of bounds?
He was pushed out. He was pushed out.
He was pushed out of bounds. What must he do to legally participate in the play going forward?
Reestablish 1 foot without the other foot touching out of bounds.
Reestablish with at least 1 foot in bounds and no other part of his anatomy out of bounds. I'm trying to find it. There we go. Okay, that's the only player we're thinking of right now. 1 foot in. Both feet in.
Yeah.
Can he continue to play?
Yes.
Let's make on like this is going to be a 40-yard return. 19 legally is allowed to continue to take part in the play. Okay?
He stepped back out again.
Okay, so up to this point, he is allowed to continue to play. Let's stop right there. Let's deal with the guy in purple.
He went out on his own.
Okay, so the guy in purple steps out on his own. Because he stepped out on his own, he must stay out here and help Mr. Fawcett officiate. Okay, he cannot return to the field of play. Now we're going back to 19 again, who now steps out of bounds again and then comes back in. Now we've already got the ball going down, but if the ball was continued to be carried, 19 now cannot take part. Okay, everybody good with these two birds?
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to these two right here.
What? I'm answering. I'm on a conference call here.
Okay, so we've got these two guys here.
It's the Zoom thing. We have it every week. Oh.
Pushed out of bounds.
It's an egg roll. I just want you to try it. Can I report back to you? Oh, yeah.
Okay, it's pushed out of bounds.
Can you mute that, Mike? I don't have the ability to do it.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so these two guys, number 6, has he gone out of bounds on his own?
No.
No, he's been pushed out. So if he breaks away from this guy, he can legally return to play. What about number 2, if the play was to continue?
He's fine.
Can he return to play?
Yes.
No. Well, he took himself out.
But he's still involved in a block.
Okay, key thing to keep in mind. These two players are involved in a block. A player who goes out of bounds because of being blocked out of bounds or being involved in a block, when they may return to play as long as they meet the other requirements. So these two players right here, if the play was to continue on, would be allowed to return to the field of play and carry on. These two guys ultimately are not permitted to, because this guy steps out again and this guy went out because he wanted to go out and smell the daisies.
Now, Al, if say 19 came in and made a tackle here, that would be
before he stepped out again.
No, like if he after he stepped out the second time,
yeah,
and went back in and made this tackle,
yeah,
so then that would be a 10-yard penalty.
yeah,
okay,
yeah. Okay, geez, that became more complicated than I thought. Any other questions on this play? No? All right.
Well, just one more question. Sorry, if we go back to that.
Yeah.
Now, if both those guys both stepped back in the bounds and then both proceeded to block one another,
if they've gone out of bounds,
and they've
and
both
they've come back legally,
and then they both stepped out on their own, then they both go in and then latch onto one another.
they're foul. If you've gone out of bounds of your own accord, you cannot come back in and play, even if you're playing against somebody who's been out of bounds.
That'd be two penalties, one on each, offsetting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If they both come back in, yes, potentially it would be one on each.
Okay.
Okay. So again, we're talking about zones of coverage and so on. Sometimes things happen real quick. So is this player's block legal? Okay, we're watching number 2. White is going this way.
Then yes. Oh, wait. Yes.
Ooh.
Yeah, he blocked the shoulder, it looked like, yeah.
Back shoulder to me.
So what complicates the whole play is this ball carrier coming back away from traffic, going away from where the direction he wants to go. And then this guy really, he just stands his ground and delivers a hit to the side. So unless it's deemed to be high, you probably could get away with nothing here. Thoughts?
Yep.
I agree.
Well, unless the head's involved, there's nothing to call it.
Nothing there. Where are we on this one?
Did he trip him?
Okay. Who has responsibility for receivers cruising through this area? Is this a 5 or a 4-man crew or person crew?
This would be 4 because that's LJR playing, correct?
Yeah. Okay.
That'd be
So this,
4.
yeah. So if you remember back when I showed you where I was lining up as an umpire, as umpires in 4 official crews, we need to be back almost where this kid is.
I think they're doing there, Al, because it's 3rd down and I think they might be in a.
Yeah, well, you're right. It's probably 3rd and short.
But keep in mind, folks, there's no short yardage thing in 4-man crew.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. So
is this the one where the umpire gets lit up?
No. No, not this one. So again, as I say, the umpire should be back here. If we're working as an umpire in a 4-member crew, we've got to work from about 15 yards deep, and our first step has to be going backwards. There's too much turf down here with nobody babysitting it. So what happens here is similar to what happened in the game I did, is that you have a receiver who's going, you're going to have a receiver who's going to drag across behind the linebackers. And as he drags across, he gets a hip check and sent flying. Please note where the ball goes. Who was the ball intended for?
That receiver.
Just for him. So if we're back here a bit further, we'll have a better look at that receiver coming through or that area to help to officiate on it. Okay.
And the other thing, the moving official in a 4-man system, you have to be more aggressive going downfield, because in a 5, we often look and see what's going on. In a 4, there's no one downfield beyond you, and you have to be downfield on every play.
Yeah. So in this,
yeah.
Linebacker, umpire back here, line of scrimmage guy on the snap is going. And it's not like we do in 5-man, or if you were at the CFL camp where it's saying pause, read and react. In a 4 official crew, the free official or moving official has to move. Okay? You have to move.
Now, in this case, Al, is that a 15-yard UR for that trip?
No, it'd be a PI.
Yeah.
So, and because it's less than 15 yards, it would be a spot foul and first down. Okay.
What's a penalty for a trip at the line? Is that UR?
A trip, an intentional trip is a 10-yard penalty.
Okay, I think it was UR.
And it can happen anywhere on the field, but you have to identify that it is if there's intent and it's with the lower leg, generally speaking, where you intentionally trip an opponent, whether it's the ball carrier or somebody else. So it just so happened he tripped on this one. All right. I believe this is the last one. No, it's not. Okay, so the ball's been fumbled. Member of the defensive team has come forward and kicked the ball downfield. What can happen now?
Good question. This is a good one.
You let it go to see if blue recovers it, because if red recovers it, it's a dead ball.
Okay. Any other thoughts?
So folks, one thing that's very significant here, red is on defense. That's extremely significant here.
Then you can just pick up the ball.
Okay.
Not advance forward by kicking it though.
Because I think it was a dribbled. I guess it would be a dribbled ball kicks, and I think once the defense touches it, it becomes everyone's onside from where that point is. I don't know if that plays into the answer, but
so what are we going to rule it as being? What are we going to rule what this player does?
Ball.
Fumble?
No, I don't. He's not allowed to kick it.
Why isn't he? You watch too much American football, my friend. Why is he not allowed to kick it downfield? What do we call this?
Oh, yeah, it's just a
dribbled ball.
It's a what?
Open field kick.
A dribbled ball.
It's a dribbled ball. Who can recover a dribbled ball?
Onside.
Anybody who's onside.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the other team.
And anybody on the other team.
Once he touches it, everyone becomes onside. If I remember that note from fumbled ball.
As long as they're behind him, Sean. Yes. Anybody on his team, as long as they're behind him. Okay. So this kid, now Pat can probably fill us in on what happened because he had all of these last Friday night. I believe he goes down and recovered. I didn't put the whole clip in. He goes down and recovers it for a touchdown. That sound right?
No,
Pat?
he just jumps on it pretty much right away.
Okay. So he kicked it downfield. He went and recovered it legally. Red ball, first down. Okay. Very similar to the one on the convert that they had.
So who did recover on this one? Red. Okay. So here's another question. If blue recovered, what's the result of the play?
What the down was.
It'd be failure to gain, I'm guessing. So it'd be blue ball where the ball's at anyway. Or red ball where the ball's at anyway.
No, the blue will get an automatic first down.
But there's no possession. I suppose if they kicked it, that means that
the dribble ball breaks continuity of downs.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. You guys had fun on Friday night, Pat.
So what if it's an accidental kick?
Then you treat it as a fumble.
It's a fumble.
Okay.
If it just hits the leg or whatever, that's deemed a fumble.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so this is the last one. And I'll send you all home happily. I couldn't add any text to this because I had to pull it off of the YouTube. Please note somebody's head's lying on the ground there. Is that a problem?
It is.
It is a problem.
He was flagged for it.
Oh, there's no question.
Oh, yeah.
And I got screamed at because how in this day and age can a player's helmet come off without an official seeing how it happened, Chris? And my response was, Coach, if you told your players to actually tighten their chin straps, maybe a helmet wouldn't just fall off.
Would you like to have this clip to send to the coach that was barking at you so they can see that it's the running back's heel that causes his helmet to come off?
Yeah.
Anyhow, so helmet
we never did figure out
hilarious.
how it came off, so that's good.
Pardon me?
We never did figure out how it came off, so that's good.
Yeah, so it came off because his face mask hooks on the player's foot as he's running away.
Yeah,
they were awfully fired up at Chris. They should definitely see that clip.
Yeah.
Wouldn't do any more damage to his head, anyways.
Yeah, I will send it to Ray so he can forward it on if he so wishes. So we have a player who has lost his helmet. The helmet did not come off by foul. So what do we know is going to happen to that player? Just as it is right now. Helmet comes off. It was not taken off.
It's out for 3 plays.
Yes,
he sits for 3 plays.
That young man, before he sits down, he has to stop moving.
Well, no.
Yes,
we're not
yes,
even to
yes.
that. No, we're not to that spot yet, Chris.
I don't know how you're not.
Player's helmet comes off on the field, and it's not caused by a foul. What must that player do? They have to sit out for 3 plays.
And refrain from taking part in the play.
Then the other thing that he has to do is stop playing. Okay, so the player, as soon as their helmet comes off, has to stop being involved in the play, and they will sit out for 3 plays. The player who decides to continue to play is then going to be penalized for illegal participation without his helmet on, which is a 10-yard penalty. Okay, so the player in this situation basically has double jeopardy happens. They weren't smart enough to stop when their helmet came off. And then by continuing to play, it's another 10-yard penalty against his team.
If you knew his father, it would all make sense.
No, probably. Probably. Anyhow, so what the heck's this one? Oh, yes. Okay. I have 2 more. This is the second last. And the last 2 are just sort of questions of what do you think? So the contact's going to happen at the point of reception. Player jumps up in the air. 2 defenders come, jump in the air, and down they go. No pass. Any thoughts from anybody?
They all jump for the ball.
Okay.
It sounded way worse. It was really loud, but it was shoulder pad to shoulder pad. I think that's part of the reason they got fired up.
So
I guess
we had, sorry.
One guy looked like he wasn't going for the ball. He was launching at the fella.
But once he starts to make contact, please note where his helmet is.
Yeah,
it's the shoulder pads against the guy.
Yeah.
So there was no call on the field. Players were playing the ball. The 3 officials who had eyes on it, as Arliss said, They all felt that it was body contact, nothing to the head. As we were leaving the game, this would be 4 plays before the game ended. We would have been standing roughly about the 50-yard line after the game, heading off, when an assistant coach came down to question us, at which point I interjected. I was then asked, "Did you not see the target?" Which point I said, "I was watching your quarterback." And I said, and then I proceeded to tell him the proper procedure to follow when you have a complaint. And as he walked away, the response was, "Well, we'll send the video." So anyhow, it was just one of those plays where you have 3 bodies, 2 of them going in one direction, third one going in another direction, all going up for the ball and getting bumped at the same time. So I'm sorry, here is the last play. And my question here is, on this foul that is called, is there anybody that thinks we should have upgraded it? And that was a discussion we had, soft discussion we had. Well, maybe we should we have upgraded it to rough play? Da, da, da. So here's the play. Anybody think that should be upgraded to a rough play?
Can we see it again?
Yeah.
Just an ugly tackle.
Yeah, it's just a
Well, what was he
horse collar.
grabbing? Was that about numbers?
I thought
it was right inside the shirt collar.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's 2 flags out on the foul.
Yeah. There's still just a horse collar.
Yeah. Both the calling officials had a horse collar on the tackle. Okay.
You could make a case for upgrading it, I'd say.
On what basis? What's the upgrade to?
So
the only thing, Andrew, it looks ugly, but outside the horse collar,
yeah,
I don't know if you have anything else there.
It's an ugly
tackle. A rough play is a deliberate attempt to injure, and I don't believe the defender is trying to injure him. He's trying to get him on the ground.
Yeah, but he didn't have to fling him over in a cartwheel like that. He could have down like that. He didn't have
I think that's just physics in this situation. Michelle.
Is he above the numbers, or is he at the numbers on the back of the jersey? Is it a horse collar?
No, I think he's inside the shirt collar.
Yeah. It's a good horse collar. It's a textbook horse collar.
Yeah, I think he's inside the shirt collar. Yeah.
The unfortunate thing is the quarterback did get hurt on the play.
I did speak with one of the coaches from the team on Sunday when I was doing the minor games there, and they said he was okay. He may have had a pinched nerve, but the coach looked at me and he said, "And it didn't happen on that play." But anyhow, it looks bad, like everybody says. The kid who's trying to tackle him sort of sitting down. We've got momentum going in different directions. It looks ugly, and the kid gets flipped around. He actually sat up and was all ready to go, and then realized he was hurt. But again, we did mention it on the field if there was need to upgrade. Alrighty. So that's them all for tonight. I hope some of them stimulate some conversation, some thought. Ray mentioned about getting into the rule book about your timing signals and understanding the timing stuff. A little bit on mechanics about the field goals and umpires getting deeper on 4 official crew. And there's a couple of these nine-a-side teams that their quarterbacks can heave the ball. So it'd be important to